And welcome to this edition of Oxford News This Week. Fatal crash takes the life of an Oxford man and sends a Brandon Township man to the hospital. In a Behind the Lens segment, sun shines bright through the tower. And in our last story, just simply titled, Number 42. That and more on this special edition of Oxford News This Week. An Oxford man died after a crash on Monday on M59 near Rochester Road when police said the pickup truck crossed into his lane and traffic hit his car off the highway. Lee Hirschman, 57, then died later at Monday night, more than 12 hours after the car was hit by M59 between John R. and DeQuinder. According to the police, Hirschman was going east on M59 in his 2008 Ford Taurus around 5:30 Monday morning when the driver of a 2006 GMC Sierra lost control and crossed over the grass in the median, hitting Hirschman and another car. The other driver was not injured in the crash. Hirschman was rushed to the hospital. He was pronounced dead just before midnight that Monday. The driver of the truck, a 25-year-old Brandon Township man, is still in critical condition after hitting two other cars. The pickup continued across the eastbound M59, hit the guardrail before coming to a complete stop off of the roadway. Sometimes the dominoes just fall in place in the correct way. Such the case in phase one of the revitalization of the park next to Addison Township's 1440 Rochester Road location. After that showed interest, which was supported feedback on a survey a year ago, the update of a 5-year Parks and Rec master plan. For a ballpark improvements got rolling with the donated money, the grant from matching funds from the township. Addison hired a WCI contractors and landscape architects and the P Group to design and carry out its new improvements. According to Martell, Phase 1 plan will include a 3 pickle park ball courts, an 8-mile walking path, and also sprucing up some of the overall cosmetic looks of the space with the play equipment. Oxford's DDA hosted a family tailgate party this past Friday night in Washington Square. The inaugural tailgate party, found hometown rivals Oxford Wildcats versus Lake Orion Dragons playing in Lake Orion. Well, the game was broadcast live in the Oxford Washington Square. Some of the family events included kids games, coloring, glow sticks, cornhole, not to mention a variety of food and choices and drink from local vendors. OCTV's Chuck Cameron was at this event, had the opportunity to speak with DDA Board Chairman Rod Charles and then DDA Executive Director Kelly Westbrook.
To me, this is a testimony of what the Oxford DDA has done. The DDA Board, and we have a fantastic Executive Director and our Media Coordinator, if I can name names, Kelly Westbrook and Kimberly Smith. This whole thing was taken care of. This is truly the definition of a community project because it's paved over. And oh, by the way, we had to get the permission from the owner of this lot. This is not a public lot. Yeah, so he was gracious to say, go ahead and pave over it, do what you need to do, set up as a nice community center. That awesome mural back there, I mean, that is, people driving through town, they see that big blue and gold with Oxford colors on it, Oxford. I mean, isn't that a cool statement? But going back to this is kind of cool community things that make people think that towns like Oxford are special, because you got people here hanging around, you got the mural, you got this lot done, and we've got all kinds of other things going on too, man. I'll tell you what, it's what's that old phrase from years ago, Chuck? A work in progress?
Okay, I'm standing here with Kelly, who has some modest thing to do with the DDA. Is that about right?
Yeah, modest is a great word for it. Yep. Yeah, it takes a whole team. It really does. So blessed to be able to just have additional events this year. I think every year we'll continue to add on. Mm-hmm. This one is actually, I can't take credit. It was Rod Charles' idea. He's the chairman of our board. Yep. And he really said, we just need something to gather community, and especially for families that maybe don't necessarily want to go to the game or go to games. And this is a good way to introduce them to Oxford football.
Yep. So this is first time?
Yeah, this is the first one, and we're excited to host it right here in Washington Square.
You think we'll have a second one?
I hope so. I mean, that'd be great. OCTV was a great help in this one, so I hope to partner again.
On Saturday afternoon, Oxford police and firefighters from Lake Orion and Oxford, the first responders, battled it out for a prestigious chicken trophy. During the wing eating contest at the Detroit Wing Company in the Oxford area, OCTV caught up with a member of the winning Oxford team, Edward Sedano, and owner of the DWC, Adam Malarnik.
And the winner is Oxford! Oxford in the clutch.
Standing here with Adam, proud owner of Detroit Wing Company. What'd you think of the event?
It's a good turnout, better than we expected. It was fun.
It's amazing watching a bunch of young men stuff themselves to the point where some of them looked like they were going to explode.
Yes, yeah. We brought out the barf bags, near the end there, on the end of each one's chair, but no one had to use it, thankfully.
Excellent. This is a great opportunity. What gave you guys the idea to pull this off?
We were just, other DWC franchises have done it, and we were like, this would be a good opportunity to bring the police and fire from Oxford and police and fire in Lake Orion together. Lake Orion police couldn't make it, so we had a lot of Lake Orion high school kids fill in, which was awesome. So we, to get that support from them was great.
Well, thank you, man. Appreciate your sponsoring it and all you do for the community. Thanks.
Yep, we're going to be giving donations. Actually, the charity that Oxford chose is 42 Strong, so we're going to be presenting a check to them next week.
Well,
So
if it's
go
not-
Oxford.
If it's not from him, it's from me. Get down here and buy stuff from Detroit Wing Company. They serve our community. I'm here with Edgar. Edgar, that was an amazing thing. How did you get involved in this craziness?
So they actually came up to our station and said, hey, we're going to do this for charity. Do you have some guys that would come down and eat with us? So there was a few of us that said yes, and I'm glad we did, because that was a lot of fun, and it's for a good cause.
What was the cause that you guys chose?
We chose the charity 42 Strong, so we're keeping it right here in town. So 10% of all their sales today will be going to them at the end of the day, so that's really cool. Really awesome on DWC to do this for us as well.
And the 24-karat gold chicken trophy goes to Oxford.
A fun time had by all. Never let it be said that Oxford Township Supervisor Jack Curtis is not a good sport. Earlier the other night, Oxford Township Supervisor Chris Barnett delivered the Lake Orion High School football jersey to the supervisor, Curtis, to put on and wear at the Township Board meeting in recognition of the Dragons' victory 38-14 over the Wildcats on September 18th. He wore it for the entire meeting. Future Heroes in Training, Oxford High School students enrolled in the Oxford Fire Department Emergency Medical EMT program engaged in basic life support with CPR training at the Oxford Fire Station number 1. 23 students are participating in this valuable program, which is now in its 4th year. Here are some of the pictures of the students. Chatting with our seniors, Oxford Township Clerk Curtis Wright and Clerk Office Administration Kelly Richter visited the Oxford Senior Center on Tuesday morning as part of that coffee and conversation series. They delivered an interesting and an informative presentation regarding the township's cemeteries, which had a total of 26.59 acres. The township owns and maintains the cemeteries on the north and the south sides of West Burdick Street and North Oxford Cemetery and Mount Pleasant Cemetery. Organized by the Oxford Township Parks and Rec Department, The Coffee and Conversation series offers community leaders, residents the opportunity to meet, connect with casual settings. For more information about the cemeteries, please call Township Clerk Office at 248-628-9787, extension either 106 or 108. Members of the Oxford Fire Department and Oakland County Sheriff's Office participated in a tactical medicine training class run by Dr. Alan R. Jansen and paramedic Rodney Lee. Members of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office Special Weapons and Tactics team held at Fire Station Number 1. The class involved learning how to apply a combat application tourniquet and how to pack 3 types of wounds with combat gauze. The bleeding control training kits used were previously purchased with a $2,500 donation from the Oxford Township-based Barron Industries. Each kit contains a trainer leg that stimulates multiple wound patterns, such as knife and gun shots. And in our Behind the Lens segment, a special segment we have here, earlier this week at the corner of Denison, Hovey, and Hudson, part of Oxford's history was actually taken down with great care for restoration in order to improve its beauty and safety in our community. Again, this project will be detailed in the weeks to come on broadcast here at OCTV. However, we thought it only fitting to show a picture that simply speaks for itself. Taken by C.J. Carnacchio on his way to the office one morning. As he checked his rear view mirror, it inspired him to stop and snap this picture. We title it simply, Sunshine Through a Tower of Hope. Thank you again, C.J., for the stop in time. And with that, we'll take a slight break. Again, if you have a picture or snap you want Behind the Lens, mail it to our Facebook page or put it on our Facebook page or send it to Behind the Lens, care of our station manager's email address. Up next, Dave Kenny will have Auto Talk and Science in the News. You're watching a very special edition of Oxford News This Week.
For a place, a people, an idea, for right and freedom, for liberty and justice for all. For every square inch between fruited plains and spacious skies. Marines fight to win. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from Automotive News. The GMC Acadia is getting roomier. After shrinking for the current generation, the 3-row Acadia returns to the 2024 model year to the larger footprint it once shared with the Chevrolet Traverse and Buick Enclave. Acadia production is moving from Spring Hill, Tennessee, back to Lansing, Michigan, rejoining the Traverse and Enclave. The 3rd generation crossover is expected to go on sale early next year. GMC unveiled the redesigned Acadia on September 13th at the Detroit Auto Show, the same venue where it showed off the current version in 2016. At the time, brand leaders said taking the Acadia down in size better positioned it in the heart of the crossover segment, but consumers found the 3rd row to be too tight. We heard it loud and clear from customers and from the dealers, said Duncan Aldred, Vice President of Global Buick GMC, told reporters. It really became apparent that customers see just a lot more value in the size. If you're offering that vehicle in this segment for a similar price, but you're offering extra space, the value equation just gets so much better. GMC didn't disclose pricing of the 2024 Acadia, though. The nameplate currently starts at $38,195, including shipping. Since the Acadia's last redesign, the 3-row crossover segment has become increasingly competitive with the arrival of the Kia Telluride, Volkswagen Atlas, Hyundai Palisade, and Subaru Ascent. Used S sales of the Acadia surged 63% in the first half of 2023, but declined in 4 of the 5 previous years. The Toyota Highlander and Ford Explorer each outsell it nearly 3-1. The 2024 Acadia was conceived to be bolder and bigger, said Jeff McDonald, the vehicle's chief engineer. It's 10.6 inches longer and 3.2 inches taller than the outgoing model with an 8.4-inch larger wheelbase. Buyers can get an extra inch of ride height from the AT4 off-road trim level. GMC said the proportions increase legroom and cargo space, allowing nearly 80% more storage behind the third row. The Acadia will seat as many as 8 people, up from 7 today. All trim levels, Denali, AT4, Elevation Premium, and Elevation, are powered by a 2.5-liter turbocharged engine that generates 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque and is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Those specs compare with 228 horsepower and 258 pounds-feet of torque for the current base engine, a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and also top those of the optional 3.6-liter V6. All-wheel drive is available for the Acadia with the AT4 trim level, employing an off-road specific active torque control system. Towing capacity is 5,000 pounds. Ben Zavala, the Acadia's lead design engineer, or exterior engineer, should I say, said the redesigned crossover is more upright and better fits GMC's premium truck brand. The styling projects a confidence that you typically see in our truck and SUV lineup, Zavala said. There's sort of a similarity in lineage to the Yukon and the Sierra, he went on. Designers added more muted and layered chrome accents on the Denali and AT4 trim levels. For Denali, this is something very new because historically we've been all about bright, Zavala said. We felt that this was a bit more progressive. When you see it, there's a bit of depth to it, and it's not so loud, which is really felt appropriate. A portrait-style 15-inch infotainment touchscreen has customizable displays and Google built-in technology. It's paired with an 11-inch driver information screen. McDonald said the cabin serves as a mobile command center that provides an intuitive experience for customers. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Do you love local sports? Whether it's Oxford High School or Parks and Rec, you can buy copies of each game. To purchase your copy, call us at 248-628-9658 or give us an email at manager@occtv.org or talk to us at the next game. Hopefully we'll see you there.
Back with you on Oxford News this week from the Detroit Wing Company Sports Center. We definitely welcome you and welcome them helping us out with sports. Varsity football got their win off to a great season, beating Oak Park early on, 37-0. Oxford did improve 1-1 overall. Then a trip 3 miles south saw a very tough Lake Orion team beat Oxford 38-14 the other night on the road, despite the great gathering of cats at the DDA Oxford tailgate party Friday night. And the bet Jack Curtis had to endure. Not enough. OCTV did secure the Lake Orion coverage of that game and will air it right here on OCTV. Watch for it in the next week or two. Last week in the Oxford's dual meet versus Lake Orion, Oxford diver Tristan Krajarkarski broke the girls' 6-dive school record with a cumulative score of 274.75. This is also a brand new Oxford High School pool record. Congratulations, great job, Tristan, on your new record. In a related story, recently at the Mercy Invite, Oxford divers Tristan Krajarkarski and Ellie Sider broke the pool record in Bloomfield Hills with 6 dives. Tristan broke the record with a score of 250.10. Initially, then, Ellie broke Tristan's record, setting a current pool record with a score in that pool, 261. Great job again, both young ladies flying high on that dive team for Oxford Wildcats. Congratulations to the boys and girls cross country teams. Both teams finished in first place over the last weekend in the Rambling Rock Invitational at Willow Metro Park. Great job. Go Wildcats. We appreciate your efforts as you make your runs up and down. Also in boys soccer, Oxford beats the defending state champ in a dominant fashion. I believe we had that here. 4-0, the Wildcats boys soccer team moves 8-1-1 and 2-0 in the league play after, again, Oxford soccer ends with a Stony Creek due to inclement weather. Again, half the play due to inclement weather. The next game is coming up against the Troy Colts. Again, you can look for that game as our own Joe Calhoun and Jebediah Calhoun put the voice behind soccer here at OCTV. And making a national story, Will Poulton is taking the next step in his hockey career, recently signing to play junior hockey with the United States Premier Hockey League, USPHL for short. He's going to be playing with the Toledo Cherokee team. The 19-year-old Oxford native is joining the team that emerged the top USPHL team in recent years and had a regular USPHL national championship. Toledo head coach, general manager Kenny Miller, actually scouted him for his group of forwards this season. 2 USPHL teams are in Michigan. They're based Michigan's Metro Jets playing out of Mount Clemens, and then also you have the Motor City Gamblers out of Fraser. So if the Toledo team does have the time, you can see him skate on the ice. In addition, other skates have included Honeybank in Junior Grizzlies. Poulton also played AAA for Bell Tire, and Victory Honda had AA for the Ice Hawks. He began hockey as a career at Orchard Lake Pirates back home. Poulton has lived in Oxford for the past 15 years and went through Oxford's community school system, graduating back in 2022. His family includes his parents Heidi and John, brothers Matt, 7th grade, Oxford Middle School, Nolan, a sophomore at Oxford High School, Jay, who goes to Oakland Community College, and again, their family dog, Wendell. Congratulations on his hockey endeavors. We'll probably see him on the NHL soon. That's going to wrap it up from the Detroit Wing Company Sports Center. I'm Jim Hughes. Stay tuned. We'll have our last story, and I know Dave Kenny has one more thing to talk about. You're watching this edition. It's Oxford News This Week on Oxford Community Television.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Westerners are more likely to go to bed earlier and have longer lie-ins at the weekend than people in Asia, which could potentially have knock-on health effects. Michael Chi at the National University of Singapore and his colleagues have analyzed anonymized data collected from 222,000 people in 35 countries using sleep trackers between January 21 and January of 22. Most of the countries were either Western or Asian, and there were on average about 242 nights of data for each wearer. Overall, across all countries, people slept between about 3 and 27 minutes longer on the weekend than during the week and woke up 30 to 60 minutes later. But those in Asia tended to have shorter lie-ins than the typical Westerner. People in India had the same shorter lie-ins on the weekend at some 3 minutes longer than their weekly sleep, whereas those in Finland had the longest lie-ins at about 27 minutes longer than in the week. Chi says that in many Asian countries, weekend days aren't culturally the same as weekend days in the West. They're not really at a rest day, he says. The researchers also found that people in Asia typically went to sleep later and slept less on average on weekdays than people in the US and Europe. On average, people in Asia slept about 45 minutes per day less than people in other parts of the world, which backs up previous findings. Work times are roughly the same across the world, so if you go to sleep later, you're going to get less sleep, says Chi. The team also found that weekday sleep was more variable for people in Asia than it was in the West. She suspects this is because people in Asia are trying to catch up on sleep during the week, while Westerners generally catch up on the weekend. There's no evidence that people in Asia need less sleep than Westerners, says she, and instead the results reveal how culture affects sleep practices. He does caution that users of sleep trackers are likely to be wealthier than the typical citizen, so these results may not be representative of each country's wider population. But even if the richer people in these Asian countries sleep less than people in the West, it could suggest that these effects are even stronger for people on lower incomes, says Chi. He says that although the sleep data was collected during the COVID-19 pandemic, the differences in sleep length between countries are likely to be similar today. But overall, sleep duration was likely longer during the pandemic. As disturbed sleep has major impact on the quality of life and long-term health, it will be crucial to further explore the unique country and regional differences in sleep patterns and their impact on downstream health outcomes, says Victoria Pack at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Hey, this is former Detroit Lion Rob Rubick and former Lapeer, Michigan school teacher. You're currently watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television. Enjoy it.
Back with you in our last story, and I guess we could have put this in our sporting section, but actually it relevance our last story today. Some Wildcat fans may have wondered why they are seeing the number 42 again gracing the playing field. Jersey number 42 was again worn by the late Tate Meir, who lost his life as a junior in the high school shooting back in November of 2021. This year it is being worn by defensive player and wide receiver senior Brody Moore. Line said about a year ago he approached Coach Line approached Buck Meir, Tate's father, who with the family and friends that started 42 Strong and the Tate Meir Foundation to honor their son in memory, talked about the possibility of using the jersey to recognize football players who were outstanding people. The foundation, which Line is on the board of as a director, is a peer-to-peer mentor group to youth in their communities. The foundation, again launched in May of 2022, is dedicated to creating a better future by helping students develop greater sense of purpose, community, and resilience. On their foundation's website is a list that Tate Meir, including being selfless, hardworking, respectful, accountable, trustworthy, caring, fun, positive, teachable, humble, confident, and loyal. Coach Line said he and his staff in the off-season, they discussed what that opportunity could mean. In the story, number 42, more than just a number, we definitely leave this picture with you. And we'd like to thank the Oxford Fire Department for helping us out with news this week. Also, the Oxford Community School System, Oakland County, Michigan government, and all Oxford's All Program of Common Ground. Also, we want to thank the news gathering sources of the Oxford Athletic Department, the Oakland Press, the Oxford Leader, Oxford Township. Facebook photos credit C.J. Carnacchio and the Oxford Leader. OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191. Channel 99 on AT&T, the UVerse system, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. Folks can even download the Roku app and watch OCTV programming there. If you have a group and you are available and would like to tour our studios, or maybe you have a show idea, maybe a public service announcement, feel free to contact our office at 248-628-9658. Thanking those helping us bring this newscast to you. It's producer-director Kyle Stage, videographer Al Campbell, writer and reporter Allison Miller, who's on assignment for the next few weeks, editor Marissa Ruska, program coordinator Dan Zweiss. We'd like to thank Jebediah Calhoun, he's learning behind the board, program director Connie Miller, and our own station manager Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next time. And again, we will take a look at Oxford News this week.